Welcome to the Press Box. I'm Ricky Martin. To my right, Greg Waddell, the sports editor. To my left, Will Cartwright, the new sports writer, covering the baseball beat right now for the spring. We're going to start with Greg and Will seem to disagree a lot on the new documentary by ESPN, Run Ricky Run, and their perception on Ricky Williams. So, Will, why don't you go ahead and lead us off with this?
Well, after watching, the 30 for 30 movies on ESPN, a whole preconception and notion of Ricky Williams and his lifestyle has totally changed. He dropped football in 2004 for rehabilitation problems, with marijuana and some other off the field issues, and I learned a lot about who he is as a person, and when he went away from football, he learned a lot about himself, and that he got into Buddhism and how to channel your energy in life, and he's very down to earth kind of guy. He's not the typical lot of NFL athletes. The reason he stopped playing football wasn't because he hated the sport and hated the lifestyle. It was because he felt like something else was out there for him. How many people can drop football and millions of dollars, not because they're in problems with rehabilitation or drug problems, it's because he wanted something else out of life, something else.
Yeah, that's fantastic that Ricky Williams did whatever he did, and I'm happy for him. Whatever makes him happy. But there's a problem with just dropping a contract in the NFL, because these guys are paying you millions upon millions of dollars to play for them. So it's kind of like a big F you to everybody in the organization when he just left and went to do some soul searching or whatever it is he was doing. And then as another thing, especially as a running back, you only have so many carries in your body and so many years in your prime. So I think it was incredibly stupid. He probably just threw away millions upon millions of dollars for that 1 or 2 seasons he was gone, whenever he could have been carrying the ball for the Dolphins and collecting a paycheck. You can smoke pot whenever you retire. Smoke all the pot you want whenever you retire, but whenever you have fresh legs, take advantage of that. Whatever. I don't care what Ricky Williams does. I don't know the guy, but just to me, that just was incredibly selfish and stupid.
But I think the thing was that he wasn't happy playing football. He wasn't happy in that lifestyle. He even noticed that when he was younger, he wanted to have money, people to like him, and to be rich and famous. And when he achieved that, he still wasn't happy inside as a person and as a family man. He has 3 kids with 3 different women, and didn't know what he wanted to do in life, and he just needed to step away.
Yeah.
So I feel like you were talking about how he was in his prime. He's 32, 33. He's the first player ever to go 1,000-yard rushing seasons in over a 6-year span. He took off 6 years and still could have a 1,000-yard rushing season. And I think he attributes that to his his yoga practice and taking care of his body and stuff. So.
And to his credit, I'm kind of with both of you. I like Ricky Williams. I liked him coming out of college. I don't really care what he does, but to his credit, he stood up for what he thought was right, did what he thought was right, and not a lot of people do that. And you got to think, would he or his team both reap benefits had he been there and been unhappy? We see that happen all the time with Terrell Owens and a lot of the divas. They stay and they're unhappy, and they make things worse.
Well, I agree with you guys. I disagree. I see you guys' points, but the NFL's a business. We talk about that it's not college.
Yeah. College is a business. College football's a business.
Well,
now.
Okay,
getting paid.
Yeah, you're getting paid to play in the NFL. You're getting paid
Sign a
a
contract.
paycheck.
Yeah.
So if you up and left your job just because you want to do some soul searching, that wouldn't go.
But you're the one that has to pay the consequences.
Yeah.
There's plenty more running backs out there at the Dolphins.
He owes the Dolphins $6 million. So
Yeah.
he wasn't getting away scotch free.
Yeah.
Still,
I think if he wanted to make the decision, he's the one that had to pay the consequences.
Yeah, good for him. Go for it. That's
All
fine.
right. Well, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's go out to the links. We're going to talk about OVC golf. The women and the men both claimed OVC championships this week. Greg, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, I would have been surprised if the men hadn't won.
Mm-hmm.
They've just been tearing things up recently. Nick Newcomb and Cameron Carrico are on fire right now. Going into the last round on Thursday, on Wednesday, the men were up by 12 strokes.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you can possibly throw that away.
Yeah.
The women, they've been playing really good too. Surprisingly, golf is probably one of our best sports at Murray State.
Yeah,
It doesn't
really
get a lot
is.
of coverage.
Yeah.
But good for them. Eddie Hunt and Milkman got their teams where they needed to be at.
And last year, the men won the OVC championship and then had it taken away. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, there was been a bit of a controversy last year. Not really controversy, but there's a rule in golf says you're not allowed to communicate between players on a team in between, like during the whole entire match. And I forget who it was technically. I don't know which player it was, but he hit a shot, and then another player asked him what club he would use, and so he kind of flashed the, what number iron he used, and so officials caught it, and it ended up being a 2-stroke penalty, and I think they ended up losing about 1 stroke in that. So I think there's a little redemption this year, maybe for what happened last year, and bittersweet end, I think. So yeah, the guys are definitely playing pretty good. I remember playing with like Cameron Carrico in high school, and as a freshman, we came in as freshmen. I knew something was special about him. Like when you're a freshman in high school and you're competing for the region championship as a freshman. So I'm glad to see he's having great success, and in-state guys. Yeah, it's great having. We have a lot of in-state guys from the state of Kentucky on that team. So it's good to see that kind of stuff.
Nick Newcomb is really a local boy. He's from right up the road in Benton. Went to U of L. Decided to come here and play at Murray. So yeah, it is good to see a lot of the local kids doing good things for Murray State. I don't know, what else should we talk about? So let's shift gears here a little bit away from Murray State and more to a global sport. That's the World Cup. It starts in 34 days. I know I'm getting really excited. I know you two guys are. Will, what are your thoughts on the World Cup and who do you think's going to win?
I mean, I think it's great for like the whole South Africa country as a whole, because what they've gone through the last 20 or 30 years. I mean, obviously you can see that from the commercials on ESPN. Recent movies such as Invictus, brings a lot of attention to South Africa. What it means to the country. First ever World Cup on the continent of Africa. So I think this is a pretty big step for world as a whole. But this year, well, every 4 years, this 4th year, I've got Spain, because I just really partial to them because I lived there last summer and I see how much they love their soccer there. Fernando Torres is playing really great. He plays up at Liverpool in the Premier League. He's playing really good. I mean, you've always got Fabregas. You got one of the best defenders in Davi. Casillas, who's their goalie, he's probably the #1 ranked goalie in the world at this time. He plays for Real Madrid, which is one of the top teams in Europe right now. So I feel like Spain's going to do really good. They've got a pretty favorable draw in their group, so they should do well.
What do you think, Greg?
Actually, you can call me a bandwagon fan. You can call it what you want. But I really feel like Brazil's going to win. If I'm not mistaken, I think that they've won 6 overall throughout the history of the World Cup, and they haven't won it recently. So I feel like they're dangerous right now. I feel like they're the Yankees of international soccer, and anytime they're in the field, you have to watch out for them. They're tough from top to bottom, and you got guys like Ronaldo and Ronaldinho on your team. I think it's hard to count you out at any time.
My pick is America, and they're 14th in the world right now, but I have a free trip to Hawaii riding on it, so let's go USA. For Greg, Will, I'm Ricky. Thanks for checking in with the Press Box. We'll see you guys next semester.
Adios.